All right, are we up? I think we're up. Dude, I just got so tired all of a sudden. Oh, shoot. Gosh darn it. I never edited a YouTube stream. That's frustrating. Frustrated with myself. Oh well. I didn't change any settings. Man, I didn't change any of the settings, bro. Sub only. Ads on. There we go. All right, updated. We're good. I wonder if I could just... I wonder if I could just change that. Okay. We got that, which is this. Hell yeah. We got YouTube Live, which I'm not going to share the link to the stream anymore, respectfully. What's up, Lil? I instead am going to send people to my live page, which I think is just this. Yes, dude. Make my life easy. Yes, dude. Now that's what I'm here for in 2025, brother. All right, one link. One link to do them all justice. Watching a TELLIUS lore video and Abyss Warriors later. Hashtag free product. Even in Discord. Very ethical. Very cool. I'm going to stop, frankly, worrying about thumbnails. I think that's where I'm at. I'm going to stop worrying about live thumbnails. Yeah. Would probably help on the VOD channel, though. I'm thinking about it. What's up, Elizabeth? Hello. All right, so if I click on that, where does it take me? Oh, it takes me to the streams page. That's just all streams. Good. That's great. I'm mulled over. I'm not hard committed to anything necessarily, so I've been playing Leaf Green all day. Yeah, that's hype, actually. I miss the old Pokemon games, man. I have been feeling very nostalgic lately. I've been on a bit of a retro console, like retro media kind of vibe lately. I may actually be driving 2 hours one way to pick up a 19-inch CRT TV. Potentially. And today I got fed a 17-year-old video of two dudes chronicling their lead up to and then completion of Halo 3 midnight release. I don't know why it got pushed to me, but like it did. And it made me feel things. Things I haven't felt before. Happened to the one I got. I do have one. It is big. My problem is I don't really have anywhere to put it. Ideally, I'm hoping for like a little 19-inch with a little RCA front load plugs. Ideally, that's where I live. Because it would be going in here, and I kid you not, the TV that's currently in the guest room is like probably 30-inch by 35-inch by like 30-inch situation. And I can't cost effectively find or build furniture for it to sit on. Now that I just like the CRT I have, which is, you know, it's great. It's free. Free is great. Free is the best of all. But it is also like 200 pounds. Like it is a freaking mammoth, bro. It's a big boy. So I know we're trying to. It's not optimal for me to actually use it, I guess is where I'm at. If I had a big old family room, and that puppy just sat there, then yeah, that'd be pretty ballin'. But that's not really our vibe that we're trying to go for in our den. So, and even then, even if I had a place to put it, I don't have anything to put it on. And I've been looking. And I think it ultimately comes down to me building something for that. You put furniture on the CRT. Well, yeah. It's also very staticky. I don't know if that has changed. And look, after sitting with it for, you know, a year-ish, it is simply just not a good fit, I think, is what it boils down to. So, oh. It occurs to me that users don't have access to read Any threads in Discord? Yep. There it is. There it is. I was like, why can't certain people see threads unless a mod adds them there? Because it's not in a base role, dude. That's why. Oh well, I'll figure that out later. Anyway, hello chat. Welcome in. Welcome in. Happy Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. I would sing a song for you, but I'm not gonna do that. I got up at like 4:30 this morning, sick as a dog, bro. I don't know if it was food poisoning or what, but so I'm running on about 2 hours of sleep total. So it's, you know, it's a rough day today. But I was excited because today is the day we're finally gonna watch TELLIUS lore video. And play Abyss Warriors. Let's freaking go. Which is very cool. Very cool and pog. So obviously, my playlist. Show me the watch on stream playlist. Cause I got stuff to watch on stream. I got some fire stuff on deck for Twitch Tuesday next week, by the way. We got craziest glitches in Super Mario. We're restoring a 30-year-old Nintendo Famicom, I think. All good stuff. And then there was another one that I can't remember, top of dome. But it was a Did You Know Gaming. Oh, it was about the hold up. It was about the Nintendo Satellink stuff. Because if you guys didn't know, Nintendo did a oh my god, this stuff is gold. Hell yeah, dude. Gimme. I pick videos that are really hard for me to just not watch by myself. But I will save them. I will save them for Twitch Tuesdays. Anyway, we're not watching that stuff tonight. We're watching a TELLIUS history and lore video. Let's go. And this is by Ends of the Earth. And about the rewritable cartridges. Yes, dude. Nintendo did some crazy stuff. Why is no one talking about this? I guess because it was like 30 years ago. But yeah, Nintendo's done weird stuff. Like, crazy. Absolutely crazy. Cool. But crazy. Respectfully. Let me do that. I am hopeful am hopeful that OBS doesn't crash on me. It asked me to update. I opted not to update. So, see how that goes. Yeah, I think the widespread consumer tech just didn't exist for the time being. Oh no. Uh-oh. Wait, what? What's wrong? What's wrong? What? Why are you guys saying uh-oh? What happened? What happened? I don't remember what part of the stream that was in. I'm just now catching up with chat. I was getting my stuff configured. Oh, the 2 hours of sleep thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's fairly upset. That's fairly uh-oh. Oh, I got people pinging me in Discord too that I didn't see. I was sick this morning, yeah. It's not fun. Don't recommend. If you can avoid, highly recommend you avoid.
Satachi just became a member.
Thank you, Satachi. Appreciate that. Satachi. That's the hearts thing, right? Are we still doing that? Or are we doing this now? What are we doing? I don't know what's hip anymore. Pretend I didn't say hip. I am youthful. Sony wanted full control of Nintendo games with making the most money from it. Yeah. I know people give Nintendo a lot of shit. Okay. I get that. But like, outside of their, how do I put this politely? Less than desirable decision making on media preservation and localization. For the most part, I like them. I mean, compared to other companies, like, dude, during the mass gaming layoffs, Nintendo hired people. Do you know why they hired people? Because Nintendo leadership said, well, people need jobs in gaming more now than ever. Why would we fire people? We'll just take a company loss. Like we'll lose out on profits for a little while. It'll be fine. Bro, you show me any other goddamn gaming company that has said that in the last 30 years. Go ahead. I'll wait. I'll wait. Yo, what's up, Wacky Warrior? There's always mass layoff. No, I'm talking about 2020, 2021, where it hit industry high layoffs, like record high layoffs. I'm not talking about, you know, a company that's laying off a studio or whatever. I'm talking global pandemic levels of recession. Everybody's fired. That kind of stuff. Anyway, chat. By the way, YouTube's on one hell of a delay. Sorry about that. Did not update it before I went live. That's the problem when I don't worry about a thumbnail. I don't go into the YouTube dashboard to change the update. Anywho. Chat. We have. How long have I been ramping? 20 minutes? Sheesh. Say less. Let's. Should we watch the? Should we just go ahead and watch? It's almost an hour long. It's almost an hour long, bro. Respectfully. She's almost an hour long. So there's like a fair amount of content to get through. So I think, frankly, that's not what I want. Well, that's fine. Yeah. This is from Ends of the Earth. I messaged them, God, probably almost a month ago at this point, where I had started watching this up until about like here. I remember that image. And I was like, wait, it would be dope if I could play and watch this on stream. Because y'all need a TELLIUS education, which this is more supplemental to the TELLIUS story as a whole. So I will try and fill in basic plot points for y'all if needed. But from what I had heard so far, like 5-6 minutes in, it was pretty. I mean, I feel like it was pretty fleshed out for the most part. So I don't think we're gonna be missing a whole lot. So I messaged them on Twitter.com, a place I rarely go these days, and I asked. I was like, "Hey, big fan of the TELLIUS lore video you got. Would it be cool if I watch this on stream with my viewers? Because frankly, they need to learn more about the glorious continent of TELLIUS." And and actually say it like that, that'd be weird, but it's true. Okay. But they responded and said yes, in fact, they would be honored, which I was like, wow, that's high praise. So we're gonna watch it. So we're ethically watching a lore video, which is something I had on my 2025 bucket list. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Part 2. There is no part 2. There's no part 2. Part of my confusion. There's no part 2. Which Satoshi said their name is Lanya. Is that right? Oh, Satashi's got to go play TELLIUS. Okay, if you want to do it the old school way, sure, yeah. That is the best way to learn about TELLIUS, is by playing TELLIUS. You should all play it, to be honest. If only it were widely available through legitimate means. Nintendo. Anyway, yeah, there's no part 2 that I'm aware of. So it's public knowledge. No, you're good. You're good. I was actually Stachi, hold on, before I get rolling, can I play a portion of your stream today? Out of curiosity. Would that be leaking? Or maybe I just timestamp it and let people see the glory for themselves. Satoshi went live earlier today. And I popped in. I'm working. boss make $1, I'll make a dime. So you know I'm watching YouTube in the middle of it. But Stasi went live and did summons for the spring banner. Where is Satachi? Oh wait, am I? Oh, these are in alphabetical order. Hey yo, that's sick. Satachi, I'm not just gonna stream your content. That would be crazy. That would be crazy bears. So I show up semi late to the party. Like 5 minutes, 5-minute deep, probably. Okay. I show up like 5 minutes late. You can see it's right there. Right.
I guess I'm like going to be a meta slave. It'll probably be fine.
Roy is definitely giving great talent in a miracle. I know.
Which I'm pretty sure Lanya was in your chat too.
All stats and then
Because I saw things. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Hey, yo, what's
up? In case you guys can't tell, that's me saying, yo, good luck.
What's up, KCB? Hi, thank you so much. Thanks for the good lucks, man. Oh my god, KCB, that was all you. That was all you. Oh.
Easy. Easy.
That was all you. Holy shit. Oh my god. Thank you, KCB.
It wasn't all me.
Plus res, minus HP too. Oh my god. All right. Holy hell. Yeah. Yo, my work here is done. This is like the closest thing we have to a spring.
In order to make fire, okay?
I just love this art so much.
It's so
you need
good.
kindling and wood.
So happy.
Okay, so you got
okay, you can't really see
a combination effect,
but like
right?
The grass behind and just like her having so much fun. Like, oh my goodness, it's so great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I did not summon Vel.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm not gonna lie, chat. I think I actually might stop at 20. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, if you don't need Chimera, you can
I kind of. Oh, okay, we're done. We're done.
Or not.
All right, cool.
Done.
We're done. This KCB might go. KC.
So, you know, invite me to your next summon session. I'll pop in chat and, you know, obviously reproduce the exact same effect, obviously, because it is a guarantee whenever I show up. Anyway, it was funny. It was lucky timing. But then dude just ends the stream after that, and I'm like, bro, I just got here. What the heck? Damn. Did I harsh the vibes? What the heck? What the heck happened here, bruh? But no, he just left. That was the plan. Was just to, yeah. Anyway. Anywho. All right, so that was Satachi achieving greatness today. I also summoned earlier that day. That video is going live after this stream for the most part. So you guys can check that out also. Okay. I was gonna put it live before, but I ran out of time. So teehee. Sorry. Wasn't gonna happen. But possibly similar experience. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I was equally lucky. I wasn't. But I got close. I think I got close. Anyway. Chat. I think it's time. I think it's time that we learn a little bit about TELLIUS. Just to make sure that's up. And I think this video is a little quiet, so we'll adjust as needed. Shout out as always. Which actually, before I do that, let me actually do. Let me do this. Let me pin this. Let me pin their channel in the chats. Lore. And then I'll link the channel. So if you guys want to go show support there, you can do that. And that would be cool and pog and dope. Where is my chat? There it is. Cool. All right, then. All right. I've made this about as ethical as I think I can. So, without further ado, chat. Let's dive into some TELLIUS lore.
Hello. This video assumes that you've played all of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. It presents out-of-order flashback events in chronological order.
Don't worry, I got you guys. I hope. But it's fine.
It is meant as a fan-made companion to the story of these games, not as a supplement.
That's
I do
okay.
encourage you, if you can, to experience the game's story on your own before watching this video. Be aware that this will majorly spoil the sequel's endgame from the start if you're going in blind.
So we're playing Faye, am I right? Aha! Yeah. Yeah, they did kind of ruin that, didn't they? A little bit, yeah.
This video contains information from both games, including content in Radiant Dawn's second playthrough, exclusive events, and the Japanese-only Maniac Mode's extended script. Additionally, I will be citing information stated in the TELLIUS Recollection books released in
We have those,
2016 and
chat.
2017, as it was assembled by the original developers. Furthermore, I will not be including any information from auxiliary materials like Heroes, Cypher, Engage, and the drama CDs. This will be strictly covering information from the games themselves or the books. Any translated information is courtesy of Cantopia and Cernusforce.net, as well as some of the posts from Emmy Ellion and Leaf of Leon Star's blogs.
Bro, I didn't even know Cantopia existed. I didn't know this was a thing. I have more recesses to check out now. Very exciting.
I will be linking them below, please check them out. I would not be able to make this without their hard work over the years. Now, all the information from here on out is purely factual. I will be releasing a short analysis of this video, discussing some of the information later in my biased conclusions. However, some speculation will occur in this video. I will include this icon in the bottom left corner if the placement of the event is up in the air. Some information is a bit vague and not given a proper year, particularly the 20 years in between the Serenus Massacre and the start of Path of Radiance. However, the information itself is not speculative, just the exact time it occurred. There are certain events vaguely mentioned in the games that are elaborated on in the databook, such as Leith's mini history lesson in her Beast Support with Jill. So I will include this icon indicating whether the information presented is strictly databook.
Leith. Just want to point that out. Leith. Is the chat distracting you guys? Should I take that off screen for now? Let's do that.
Only. Lastly, be aware that this game does include some darker themes that will be addressed in the video. If you have played the game, you're probably aware, but for a refresher, they're listed here. And with that, let's begin. The world that held the continent of TELLIUS was, at first, only water. One day, a girl appeared. She was a creation goddess in an empty world and created the land and all the creatures and the vegetables.
Chad, do you know who this is? She might look familiar, but she's not the same person. I won't spoil it.
On it. She had fun creating so much life, such as the trees, the fish, and the birds. But quickly she grew lonely at existing in a world of her own creation, without anyone to connect with. She cried for thousands of years, while the life she had created evolved around her. Eventually, this life became intelligent enough to comfort and talk to her. She was named by them Ashenera the Dawn Goddess, after the striking color of her hair.
Ashenera. Interesting name, huh? Probably only a matter of time before she gets into Fate 2, to be honest with you.
And the evolved life was dubbed the Zuanma. She stood by them and educated them. Much time passed, and after the Zuanma naturally grew in number, they began to populate their own factions full of different races. These people would eventually evolve into the Bayek and the Laguz. Bayek were known as the Children of Wisdom, and the Laguz as the Children of Might. Conflict brewed over superiority, and Ashenera was helpless to stop them from warring with each other. In a fit of despair and rage towards her children for destroying each other without heeding her warnings, she wept, and all the lands in the world were flooded, save for the continent of TELLIUS. This would later be called the Great Flood. This tale would be recounted incorrectly throughout history between the different nations. In Benyon, they are taught that the Zuanma were the Bayek's ancestors, and only the Bayek. The other Bayek nations, like Crimea and Dayan, they are given a vague fairy tale about a
Crimea would be Elincia's domain. Dayan would be Micaiah's eventual domain. Right? Just so we know. Okay. Just so everybody on the same page.
dark god stirring up a great disaster. In Laguz nations like Gallia, it is said that the Great Flood was what would happen if the dark god and the medallion were to awaken. This is from King Degensi of Goldoa himself. Even in Hitari, they are taught that the flood was a punishment from the goddess, not an accident. None of these tales were the truth. Disgusted by her emotional outburst wiping out so many of her creations, she cast out the chaos in her being, and was split into two. From then on, Ashenera was Asher and Yun. Asher stood for restraint, order, stability, history, and resolution. Yun stood for freedom, chaos, transformation, future, and mystery. Deciding that Yun was a flaw in her being, Asher called upon the three heroes to fight against Yun's forces: Altina of the Bayek, Degensi of the Dragon Tribes, so on of the Beast Tribes.
All right. So, again, just to briefly recap. Ashera waged war against her other half, Yun, using these three. Two of which are in the game of Fire Emblem Heroes, one of which is still not quite there. But eventually, hopefully, maybe, kind of, sort of. Okay? So they're fighting against the chaos, so to speak. Okay. Whereas Ashera represents the order, right?
She blessed Altina's twin blades Ragnall and Alondite, as well as Degensia and so on strong bodies. The armor that Yun blessed onto her soldiers lacked adequate protection, and her forces were easily decimated. However, there was one more member of Ashera's forces against Yun. Laron, the Black Heron of the Serenus Forest, was the fourth member of their team, with a body also blessed by Ashera, who could use powerful, safe magic. After their victory, Laron pleaded with Ashera to become one with Yun once more. However, out of fear of losing control and causing the death of so many of her children again, Ashera refused. She thought that Yun was an imperfection in her that needed to be cut out to be the perfect orderly goddess of the land. Altina proposed for the heroes to pledge, as representatives of the Bayek and Laguz, to coexist in peace. But Ashera refused, thinking that it would be impossible to fully erase conflict from the world if the Bayek and Laguz were created in her own imperfect image. Laron then begs Ashera to reconsider in destroying Yun. With the power of the Heron's safe magic, he can imprison her in sleep inside of a bronze medallion. In response, Ashera says that imprisoning and destroying Yun are the same to her. Both Ashera and Yun accept this proposal. Laron promises to sing Galder to Yun, to calm and comfort her.
Except sealing away and destroying turns out not the same thing. One of those plans has a pretty big flaw. The other, relatively absolute. But they went with the sealing strategy anyway, which is fine. For spoiler reasons that I'm sure we're going to talk about here in a couple minutes.
And to be with her always within her deep, long slumber. Under Ashera's guidance, the continent of TELLIUS begins a reconstruction. However, not long after Yoon's slumber, Laron and the other three heroes meet Ashera at the Tower of Guidance, and ask her once more to become one with Yoon, as a separation from half of her being has already begun to change her. Ashera agrees to sleep too, for the next 1,000 years, out of respect for Laron's piety. In return, Laron, Altina, Soan, and Degencia all vow that there will be no great war that involves every country on the land of TELLIUS in that time. Should there be, Ashera and Yoon would be awoken from their slumber to punish the world.
So, Yoon gets sealed away. Ashera agrees to sleep for 1,000 years. And if there is basically no world war, we all good. However, imperfect creation image beings that they are. Because Ashera is like, if you could picture Ashera being like AI, going in and finding basically anything that's not optimized. Ashera believed that because the beings of TELLIUS were created in an imperfect image, then they themselves were also imperfect and should also be subject to the order. Okay. So they're kind of given an opportunity to prove to Ashera that they are better than that. And that they can behave. And that while mom goes to sleep, everything will be fine. Okay. As we know, that does not happen. So,
in light of this, Ashera also told Laron of his role as a witness during their slumber. If he deemed the world to be one that outlived the atrocities of war, he could awaken them to give them the good news. Or he could awaken them to tell them that their plan had failed, that the world was beyond redemption. To awaken the goddesses, he would have to sing the Galder of Release. This will be inherited through his bloodline as well. With this plan set, Ashera went to sleep as well, vowing to awake whenever 1,000 years had passed without war, or whenever the Galder of Release was sung, or at worst, when all lands of TELLIUS were at war. Should this pledge of peace be carried out successfully, Ashera would rejoin with Yoon and become Ashunera once more. Degencia the Black Dragon forms the nation of Goldoa in the arid mountains to the southwest. He pledges to be the control, to make sure at least one nation, no matter what, would never join a great war that envelops the entirety of TELLIUS. To that end, he declared that Goldoa would be locked. No one could go in or out. If no one in Goldoa could leave, technically no one in Goldoa could participate in a war that breaks the covenant and wake up Ashera and Yoon. The nation of Goldoa was almost entirely desert. The barren land was difficult to live in for the Beorc. However, the vitality of the Goldoan dragons made them uniquely able to handle the scorching temperatures and the strong winds from the nearby mountains and seas. The architecture of the land was unique in that the strong flying dragons were able to carry and move large and intact stones.
which, if you guys played the games, you'll know that when Ike shows up in Goldoa, people are not pleased. This is because of the pact. Nobody in or out, yada yada. Okay.
As well as use the natural cliffs and elevation to its advantage. The remaining three formed the Kingdom of Benyon. It was a nation of Laguz and Beorc living in harmony, content that the heroes who had saved the world were building a kingdom with the guidance of the goddess. Thus, Altina was soon crowned Queen of Benyon. Laron would become Altina's advisor. The land of Benyon in this time was focused to the southeast of the continent. It was a pastoral haven. The fertile earth was ideal for farming, with a warm climate all year round. Xi'an, the capital, was filled with lavish temples. Many predated the war with Yun, with the Tower of Guidance where Ashera slept towering over the rest. To the north of the capital, at the very heart of the continent of TELLIUS, was the Serenus Forest. This was the home of Laron's people, the Heron tribe. Much of the architecture of the Serenus Forest survived the time of Ashenera to modern day. The humid air of the Gazalea Sea collided with the nearby mountains to create abundant rainfall. This caused the forest's famous vitality. It's also home to plenty of fauna that lived in peace with the vegetarian herons. In Benyon, the Serenus Forest was considered a holy ground because it was the homeland to the herons that the goddess loved so much. For Altina and Laron, though, the two had grown very close during their time fighting. They fell deeply in love by the end of the war and were married. Despite being Bayark and Laguz, they were very popular amongst their people, and their union was proof of coexistence between the two races.
Dun dun dun. Now, if you are familiar with certain characters and brands, this will play a major role in that.
In time, Altina would announce her pregnancy. There had never been a child conceived of the union between a Bayark and Laguz before, and the news brought much celebration. This happiness would not last. Soon after the birth of their daughter, Laron lost his ability to transform into a heron. He could not sing the Gulder of Sleep to calm Yun in the medallion, nor any Gulder for that matter, and lost the ability to speak to the slumbering goddesses, as was his role to be the bridge between goddesses and the people of TELLIUS. Their child was the first ever born of Laguz and Bayark union. He was at a loss on what to do. All four of Ashera's chosen feared that this would cause the new peace between the Bayark and Laguz to shatter. With no one to counsel about it, he quickly fell into deep despair. Laron isolated himself, attempting to take his own life several times, but eventually he emerged with one conclusion in mind.
Now, there is themes of racism throughout the Tellius games, right? Mordecai and Leith showing up, seeing Ike, Soren hating them. I think that's some of the first stuff that we see in Path of Radiance. But it wasn't because they were different. It was more so because the union between Altina and Laron ultimately led to an unsettling in that they could no longer keep the medallion at peace. That was the ripple. Okay. That was the first moment of unsettledness, if you will. That had people kind of at tension. Because remember, Ashera said, I'm gonna go sleep now. And if we're all good, 1,000 years, we'll put the coin back together, basically. And so obviously everybody on the continent of Tellius was like, yeah, that's chill. We want that. That's a good idea. No one more so than Laron himself. The irony. But through that union lost the ability to maintain that peace. Interesting.
This must be a punishment from the goddess. For the sake of the future, he pleaded with Altina to announce that the birth was a rumor, and that he, Laron, had died in an accident. Marriages between the Bayark and Laguz became forbidden, and that any child born of the Bayark and Laguz union were to be solely raised by the Bayark parent as though they were Bayark. Such marriage and union were stated to be a crime against the goddess.
So again, not because they were different, but because there was fear that it was a punishment, specifically because Laron lost the ability of Gulder. Okay. So it's not surface level racism. It's racism that developed over a truth that nobody was allowed to talk about over a very long period of time. Yeah.
Laron would hide in Goldoa, protected by Degentia, disappearing from the history books of the continent of Tellius. Altina continued her reign alone with a new Bayark husband. doing as Laron wished and claiming that his child was theirs. Following Altina's eventual death, Soan would take up the mantle as the second ruler and king of Benyon. Decades later, after predicting a future famine, the granddaughter of Laron and Altina,
Granddaughter. Yoram.
Yoram was pronounced the first apostle of Benyon. Yoram had the ability to speak to the goddess and had the power of foresight. She could also sense the feelings of the people in front of her. These are all abilities originally belonging to Laron. His role to become the bridge between the goddess and the people would be inherited to usually the first daughter in every other generation of his bloodline. The exception being, in Yoram's time, there were apostles born in 3 successive generations. But the Senate retained the lie that Laron had set in motion. They hid that the descendants were branded from the public. And the apostles themselves were falsely told that their powers were a result of Altina's bloodline. However, the apostles that came after would soon come to realize the truth.
So because they weren't allowed to talk about the truth, we had some misconceptions formed, which would eventually spiral into the conflict that I think we're probably going to prelude into here.
Several generations later, a brand would start appearing on the skin of the children born of both Beork and Laguz. Visually, it was similar to the mages who invited spirits into their body, so they could pass off their mark as the same as that of a spirit charmer. However, eventually the signs of slow aging became apparent. The branded would have no choice but to constantly travel.
Which is why, by the way, Micaiah was known as like a fortune teller. Fun fact.
Never living in one place for too long and to not form attachments. They could try to fit into Beork dominant regions easily enough, but in Laguz heavy populations like the future kingdom of Gallia, there was a rumor that the birth of a branded child was one of great omen, that would hasten the end of the world by 100 years. This would
hasten the end of the world. A branded child born would hasten the end of the world. Yeah, I wonder why people didn't get along. That's
result
crazy.
in the branded being publicly executed. Furthermore, it would be impossible to hide the signs of being branded, as many Laguz could sense it, a sense that the Beork lacked. Because of the elusive nature of the branded people, rumors of them mutated. For the apostle bloodline, the manifestation of their brand made them realize the truth of their powers. It was a secret and a deep sense of shame, and it remained so for centuries. Degensi would later deeply regret his part in helping to conceal the existence of the branded, and admitted all 4 of Asher's chosen should have officially announced Laron and Altina's child. He also felt personally responsible for all the persecuted branded on his watch. In this early period of Benyon's history, the monarchs of Benyon were Laguz more often than not. Yoram's granddaughter, the Apostle Tormeni, formed the church that would become the backbone of Benyon's theocracy, backed by the Senate. This theocratic Senate was made up of 7 Beork senators that conflicted with the Laguz monarchy. Despite the harmony from the populace, the Senate's displeasure with them grew. The Laguz ruling faction and the Beork Senate erupted in a civil war. This conflict ended with the leader of the Laguz faction, a hawk named Kyo, being executed and the remaining Laguz associated with the movement being spared at the cost of enslavement. As a result of this victory, the Benyon Senate proclaimed that the kingdom of Benyon was now a theocratic empire. The current apostle, Meshua, was named the first empress of Benyon as well. All lands except for Goldoa on the continent of TELLIUS would belong to Benyon. The Senate claimed that this was in the apostle's name. This replaced the previous leadership that appointed the most capable, regardless of race, and made it impossible for a Laguz to lead Benyon again. However,
So, couple of chuckleheads think that they have this divine right because they're ignorant to what the truth is, or because they're exploiting the fact that the truth cannot be actually shared, whatever the reason be. They decide to take over the entire continent, except for Galdoa. Which, truthfully, I don't know that they wouldn't try, but it is wickedly difficult to get into, as you can see. It is basically covered by sea and mountains on all sides, or one side or the other. You get what I mean? Anyway.
However, most apostles would end up being puppet leaders, while the Senate was the one in control. This period would be known as the Golden Age of Benyon. The start of centuries-long institutionalized racism in Benyon was a result of this divide. To rebel against their Bayeric masters, Lagu slaves would call them the derogatory term human. Bayeric slave owners started reclaiming it, ignorantly thinking that it was a compliment. This would further mutate to the Senate claiming that the term meant the chosen people. As a result, the Senate eventually rewrote history to claim the Zuanma, created by the goddess, were ancestors of the Bayeric only, completely tossing out the Lagus as a shared ancestor.
So now we're just rewriting history entirely. Like, we're not even just fussing with a lie or an untruth, rather, that was intentionally made to try and protect the peace. Greed and stupidity are now starting to take effect. I love that these are the three that they've chosen for this, too. Really just brings it home.
This was a dehumanization tactic, as they could simultaneously dub the enslaved Lagus as subhuman. Being surrounded by mountains teeming with gold and silver ore, the ideal climate for large-scale farming, plentiful fish in its waters, and a large breadth of uninterrupted landmass, Benyon's wealth was vast. However, most of the wealth and abundance of Benyon's natural resources would be devoured by the Senate and nobility. Such a large country was broken into pieces by members of the Senate who controlled key regions. Each duke had their own private army to command, with the generals appointed by themselves. In times of war, these armies would combine to create the Benyon Imperial Central Army, with the general appointed by the Empress herself. Additionally, the Apostle controlled a Holy Guard of Pegasus Knights to guard her own person, while the Senate controlled a Holy Guard of Draco Knights that reported solely to them. Benyon's military structure allowed only nobles to hold titles and high ranks, stating that, quote, only one of noble birth was worthy of serving the goddess. The Kingdom of Goldoa continually protests Benyon's use of Lagu slavery to no avail. Laran went to Degencia, the only other living member of Ashera's chosen heroes, and pleaded with him to personally intervene to stop Benyon's hegemony. In Degencia's eyes, he was completely jaded that the Bayeric and Lagus could live in harmony anymore, like they envisioned with Ashera. The covenant to Ashera weighed heavily on Degencia's mind. He needed to make sure that, no matter what, quote, Goldoa would not move, and would never participate in a war that engulfs the entire continent. However, Laurent saw this inaction on Degencia's part to be pure cowardice. Benyon was now a powerful empire with the voice of the goddess as its crowning jewel. Hundreds of years later, the Great Lagus movement out of Benyon began. Many beast Lagus decided to leave Benyon behind and fled to the forests to the west, while some bird Lagus fled to the southern islands. The forest to the west, in time, would be named Gallia. In retaliation, Benyon angrily sent soldiers to try to defeat the escaped Lagus. Gallia as a land was full of dense forests and a subtropical climate that made it hot and humid regardless of the season. Unconcerned with widespread agricultural development, the beast Lagus living there preferred to hunt and forage their meals. The terrain and climate was perfect for Lagus, but intolerable for Bayeric. As a result, Bayeric could not fight well in the thick forests of Gallia that the Lagus had a natural terrain advantage on. The Gallians defended themselves by engaging in guerrilla warfare, gaining the clear upper hand. Encouraged by this, a large number of the remaining Lagus slaves in Benyon began to flee and aided each other in their escape. Some members of the Benyon Senate supported this, causing a rift. Gallia was now established as its own land by the Lion King Solhalt, with the support of Degencia and his country of Goldoa. Many of the birds that fled to the southern islands inspired their brethren in Benyon to escape too. Worried by this exodus, Benyon sent more soldiers to Gallia, but was unsuccessful the second time as its first. This dragged on for many decades. Taking advantage of the distracted Benyon, the birds who had fled formally established themselves as the Kingdom of Phoenicus, with the strongest among them, the hawk Holst, as its leader. Phoenicus was a set of 3 large islands separated from the main continent by the Gazalea Sea, just south of the Serenus Forest. It was adorned by steep cliffs and high mountaintops. To avoid invasion, they happily settled on these out-of-reach places. This would be a roadblock for Bayeric, but it was ideal for the airborne hawks and ravens. The rare stretches of land and climate were actually ideal for farming, but this was irrelevant to the birds, whose diet mostly consisted of hunted animals and some foraged nuts and berries. The newly freed birds had found land ideal to them, isolated from their previous oppressors. Thus, the divide in Benyon's Senate finally met its breaking point. The half that sought peace with the Laguz left with the Senator Caradoc and formed this nation of Crimea past the western mountains into the north of Gallia.
And we all know who rules Crimea, right? Okay, so now I think we have the geographical terrain laid out for why I think you guys might understand why a war started breaking out and why Princess Alencia in particular was so wanted by Benyon, right? Because as you can see, if they ever wanted to go back into Gallia for whatever reason, right, they would literally have to come through here, down here, because the mountains were too thick to get through, right? It was the same reason nobody ever went through Galdoa. So from a tactical perspective, Crimea being here was a big impediment on Benyon, right? So they did not like that. And they did not like that another nation state was established here between them and Gallia, right? Because of the three Laguz nations, Phoenix, Gallia, Galdoa, Gallia was really the only one that they could actually get into and get close to. So they would want to holster up here, basically, to keep them in check if they could, rather than let them expand further out. Does that make sense? For the record, I don't know if that's going to get covered or talked about, but back up just a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So before I started yapping, there was a senator from Benyon who basically made his own nation state. That was known as Crimea, friendly with the Laguz. And basically made a roadblock nation, and Benyon did not like that.
Senator Caradoc informed this nation of Crimea past the western mountains into the north of Gallia. Crimea initiated a peaceful alliance with Gallia right away. Crimea and Gallia held a long friendship from then on. However, this alliance was mostly political. Citizens from both held a long bias against the dominant race of either country. However, Bayards living in Gallia and Laguz living in Crimea weren't completely unheard of. Gallia, like many Laguz communities, elected their leader through physical strength. However, Gallia's population consisted mostly of tribes scattered around the land, so it lacked a central army. The pride in Gallians' people was their individuality. Crimea as a land was very mild and idyllic. It lacked the particularities of its neighbors' harsh climates, nor the unique environmental features. However, the land was not fertile, and most of its farmland relied on the 2-field and 3-field farming system. To make up for that loss, Crimea bolstered its trade, using trade routes to its neighbors and establishing strong alliances. Much of its economy relied on highways to and from different nations. To protect this trade, mercenaries became quite common to escort precious cargo. Bureaucrats and merchants had a strong reliance on these mercenaries, with some even having their own private armies. As a result, Crimea had a weaker military, but strong diplomatic and economic connections to avoid warfare in the first place. Soon after the loss of the ones who now considered themselves Crimeans from their population, Benyon had no choice but to sign a peace treaty with Gallia after 45 long years of attempted invasion. Soon, Benyon would officially recognize Crimea, Gallia, and Phoenix as official countries. Benyon, however, while acknowledging Crimea's internal autonomy as a country, claims suzerainty over Crimea. As in, Benyon, while acknowledging Crimea as a sovereign nation, still considers the land part of Benyon when it benefits them in times of war.
Yep.
This would come to a head later down the line.
Yep.
The birth of Crimea and the exhaustion from the long-lived attempted invasion of Gallia brought great social change to many of Benyon's citizens.
And another thing because again, geography is my thing, right? Another thing I'll just note here is that geography-wise, Crimea has very few borders to get in through. There's this little bottleneck here that could be easily accessed, but again, this is the Heron's territory, which nobody messes with them officially because they're the favorite of the goddess. Or at least that's what the lore was, right? But then you also had this up here, which could have been by boat, but again, to get to these guys, you kind of have to come through here for the most part, or risk this, which I don't think it was mentioned, but this is like really rocky, bad waters, nearly impossible to sail through, yada yada, right? There's really not a great way to get here. Anyway.
Citizens as well, eventually tipping the scales into Lagu's equality being the dominant social stance. Seeing this, the ones on the opposing ideology, the ones who strongly backed the view that Lagus were subhuman, also decided to leave Benyon and establish their own country, copying Crimea's tactic. Under
So the most hateful of the hateful. They left. They left. Yeah. So that would be Dan. Love that.
Senator Heingius' flag, they moved north in between Crimea and the Desert of Death. The land that became the country of Dan was a brutal one. Due to low rainfall, being surrounded by mountains on almost all sides, and the barren desert on the remaining border, most of the land was difficult to develop into farmland. The few lands that were developed into farmland struggled greatly. In the regions that did experience rainfall, like Telrega, suffered from brutal routine flooding outside of the winter season. The salt gathered from the northern coast and the ore mined from the mountains were its main trade exports, creating a lot of national wealth. However, the monarchy brutally taxed its citizens, thus class mobility was almost unheard of. The citizens had a very low standard of living. The amount of power in comparison that the Dan kings held over them was tyrannical. Being a nation built on the back of racism, anti-Laguz ideology was taught to children in schools. In fact, the word Laguz was not even taught to children, they were only taught to call them subhuman. The Laguz hunts were organized by the military to purge runaway Laguz hiding in the remote mountains and forests who escaped from Benyon slavery. Because of the harsh environment that many were forced to live in, with no chance at a better life, and the military power that reigned over the people, Dane citizens were forced to live simple lives, have strong willpower, and live by the creed that, quote, you cannot survive unless you cut things down. Then, just 5 years after its founding, Dan requests Benyon's aid to invade Gallia. Keenly knowing how fruitless it was after 45 long years of attempted evasion, Benyon refused. Dan then requests Crimea's aid. Crimea, an ally of Gallia from day one, also refused. Knowing they could not invade Gallia without help, Dan then decides to invade Crimea instead. Crimea held a strong resistance.
And this would be why they were hunting down Lincia. Okay.
And the war was gridlocked for many years. Realizing how pointless it was, they both decided to stop before the two young countries were destroyed. And with that, the war ended as flippantly as it started. At this time, to the island south of TELLIUS, many of the ravens of Phoenicius decide to leave for the eastward island due to, quote, distinct temperaments between the hawk and raven tribes. Upon settling down, the ravens proclaim themselves the nation of Kilvis. The ravens
This would be why Tibarn and what's his name? Raven guy. They don't get along. Okay. They do not like each other. Which they would both rule respective islands on their own time.
Prided themselves as different from the hawks for valuing wisdom over strength. Similar to other Laguz nations, ruling was decided by the most superior among them, not bloodline. However, due to their values, the most cunning
cleverness
rather than physical strength, like Gallia and Phoenicius. Since Kilvis was originally just the eastern half of Phoenicius, the culture and climate was about the same. The only thing separating them was this mindset and a narrow sea. Benyon, unsatisfied with the way their empire cracked into pieces and wishing to restore its continental dominance, decides to invade Dan and Kilvis. In the goddesses and the apostles' name, the mighty Draco Knights flew south to Kilvis by air, and their powerful infantry marched forward to Dan by land. Then, 3 years later, out of the blue, Kilvis refused Phoenicius' offer for aid and soon suddenly surrendered to Benyon. Now, The placement of this next event on the timeline is not confirmed, so this is more speculative than the rest of the video. However, this is the only time frame I can think of that this would happen, and for me, it answers the question of Kilvis' son's surrender and their refusal for aid. Kilvis had many geological advantages to prevent a ground invasion. Benion's Draco Knights were now renowned for their strength in an aerial fight. Kilvis, a newborn nation known for weak fighters and a lack of national wealth, likely did not stand a chance without help of the capable fighters of Phoenix. So, the King of Kilvis then signed a pact with Benion. This contract had given Kilvis back some of its losses in exchange for a surrender. However, the king was quick to break it, thinking he outmaneuvered his enemy. Now, this was far from the truth. On the first day of King Kilvis' betrayal, the peasant from Kilvis suddenly perished. No one thought much of it at the time. The next day, 2 more died, and then 3 more on the 3rd day.
And you're going to see this contract come into play again. Nisala, yeah. Nisala, Raven King. Yes, thank you.
And so on. This would continue for a month, till, cumulatively, 5,000 citizens had died with no explanation. King Kilvis realized this was the price of his deceit and begged for Benion's forgiveness to stop the annihilation of his people. Benion jumped at the opportunity to homogenize Kilvis for its trickery. The document, signed in blood, began a long control of Kilvis' resources for Benion's gain that would continue on for hundreds of years. And they were now acutely aware of the price of breaking such a contract. While ravens historically kept to themselves and protected each other, the inexplainable actions of the ravens secretly carrying out Benion's dirty work transformed their reputation into capricious deceivers, even to their fellow Lagoos. Daeon's resistance held strong, despite news of Kilvis' surrender, and in time, Crimea joined forces with its neighbor to push Benion back. In turn, all nations, Phoenix...
Sorry, just to make sure we're all on the up and up here. That is the explanation behind why the Ravens were seen as like mischievous and deceitful, and nobody could trust them, right? Because they were secretly working on Benion's behalf because they were at the behest of a blood pact. Okay.
Crimea, Gallia, and Daeon all pushed back against Benion's might, using the unique strength of its warriors and landforms to resist being crushed. This war continued on deadlocked for decades upon decades. Amid this struggle, the Herons of the Serenus Forest began to formally protest Benion's conquest. Benion had left Serenus Herons completely alone all these years, as the Herons, despite Benion's historical anti-Laguz stance, were said to be the most beloved and beautiful creations of the goddess. This had let them avoid widespread enslavement within Benion, however some were secretly still captured. However, Serenus was technically still within Benion's borders. The pacifistic and pious Serenus Herons, seeing decades of bloodshed in the goddess's name, cast doubt on the legitimacy of the apostle herself, doubting her ability to speak to the goddess at all. This enraged the Senate. Subsequently, the Herons decided to establish the independent kingdom of Serenus, separate from Benion's empire. From then on, the doubt of the legitimacy of the apostle never ceased. At this point, the Benion Empire's war against the kingdoms of Crimea, Daeon, Gallia, and Phoenix was gridlocked for 45 long years, and many thought this would never end. However, the Kingdom of Goldoa finally intervened and successfully called for peace talks, on the condition that Benion would have to officially recognize Daeon, Kilvis, and Serenus as nations. The Treaty of Sarasa was signed in Goldoa. Not many years after this, King Tegenci of Goldoa would get into an argument with one of his longtime advisors, Nazir. Nazir thought that the coexistence between Laguz and Bayark was still possible, and Tegencia now seemed to outright reject the possibility. In disgust, Nazir left Goldoa to travel the continent for almost a century. Decades passed, and the next apostle and 36th Empress of Benion would ascend. Her name was Misaha. She, like many of her ancestors, bore the brand of Laran's bloodline. Now that a physical brand was on their skin, it was undeniable that the apostles had Laguz blood in their veins. The Senate continued the lie that Altina's bloodline was purely Bayaric and forbade the apostles from revealing their heritage, all while still declaring the branded to be an affront to the goddess. Misaha grew up plagued with guilt, thinking she was born of a great sin. However, she was unlike hundreds of generations of apostles before her, in that she embraced her empress role. While apostles were deeply involved with communicating with the goddess and forecasting potential calamity using their foresight, the empress role seemed to be mostly a ceremonial title. Misaha, in contrast, had determination to guide her people to a just and honest future. In Goldoa, it had been
W.
over
Misaha.
700 years since Laurent went to live in seclusion, away from the gaze of history. However, the fraught history of Tellius these past centuries greatly wore down his spirit. For Degentia, his pledge to be the last bastion of control on the continent was the only thing keeping him sane. After all, the dragon tribe was so strong compared to everyone else. Surely they'd bring about the end of the world if they participated in the bloodshed. After an argument with him, Laurent decided to leave Goldoa for the first time in 700 years and see the continent of Tellius for himself. In the year 615, King Ramon ascended the throne of Crimea. Gallia and Crimea had been allies since the start, but Ramon developed a strong friendship with Gallia's king Cenigus that strengthened this allyship even more. Next in line of succession was Ramon's younger brother, Rene, general of Crimea's royal knights. In the year 624, Empress
Renning is
Natasha Misaha
important.
put forward the Laguz Emancipation Act. Slavery would be outlawed in the Benyan Empire after 600 long years. This infuriated the Senate, who then tried to rally the people against her. However, this act was very popular amongst the citizenry. It only hurt the nobles who profited off of slave labor, and the Senate who were failing to maintain tyrannical control by wielding institutional racism.
AKA the billionaire class, am I right?
Shortly after this act, Misaha was visited by mysterious Laguz. Instantly, she knew it was her ancestor Laurent. She believed him utterly that he was indeed Altina's husband and her own forefather, that all of the inherited abilities that she thought she was cursed with were blessings originally for him. Misaha now realized there was nothing wrong with being born one of the branded if her Laguz ancestor was this man before her. Both were very emotional at this reunion, and became quite close and pledged to stop evil of the Benyan Senate. In Laurent's eyes, this utterly rejuvenated his cracked faith in humanity. His tragic relationship with Altina and the subsequent loss of his own power had a silver lining, knowing it resulted in generations of apostles like Misaha. It was also likely around this time that Laurent met Misaha's granddaughter, Micaiah. Not much is known about Micaiah's early life, other than that her birth was not publicly announced, only her close family and the senators were aware of her existence. Laurent headed back to Goldoa to tell Degentia that there was hope. Benyan's corrupt government was on its way to heal itself from within. After that, he seemed to live in Benyan, mingling among the people, disguised as a barrack sage. While slavery was officially outlawed in Benyan, many still secretly had Laguz slaves secluded from public eyes. This would tragically continue on for many years. One such case was Raphael, one of the eldest sons of the Serenus royal family, who was captured by slave traders outside the Serenus forest. He was auctioned off like a living art piece to the senators of Benyan, and the bidding was extremely competitive. The winner of this auction was Duke Asmund Hetzel, who drained most of his riches on him. Raphael became ill to the brink of death out of despair and desperation. His wings never recovered, and he ended up losing his ability to fly. Hetzel, having a rare moment of humanity, decided to nurse him to health, and told him that he would go free once he recovered. Hetzel was both Raphael's, quote, enemy and savior. However, right around the corner was an acutely evil event that it would irrevocably change the trajectory of the fate of the continent of Tellius forever. Misaha, intending to reveal the truth of the apostle bloodline to the public, was murdered by the Benyan Senate, along with her granddaughter Micaiah. The Senate then announced the culprit of Misaha's murder, the Herons of the Serenus Forest. The Herons were pacifist by nature. There's no way they could have committed the crime. However, the citizens cared not in the heat of the moment. They wanted revenge for the death of their beloved leader and stormed the Serenus Forest. For 3 days, they ignited the forest and killed every Laguz they saw. They were, quote, drunk with joy, laughed and sang, while committing a genocide. Horrified after seeing the wrath of the people of Benyan, Laurent flew to the forest. He was too late. The only survivors were select members of the royal family. To protect her, the eldest daughter sealed the youngest of them, Leanne, in a golden sleep and hid her body in a small shrine. Princess Lilia, presumably one of the ones who sealed Leanne away, also barely survived the disaster, lying at the brink of death at the altar. The current king of Phoenicius, Tibarn, flew to the Serenus forest.
W. Tibarn. We love Tibarn. Tibarn the goat.
As soon as he heard, but he and his men could only retrieve Prince Racin and a comatose King Lazarea. Prince Raphael, still at the church in Benyan he was recovering at, hear, feel, and sense the slaughter of his people from afar. Among the pain he was feeling, he now felt deep grief and sorrow. Hetzel, while not being one of the senators involved, was aware of what had transpired. Raphael had taken Hetzel's hand and begged him to be returned to the forest right away. Hetzel lets him leave without a word. However, Raphael's wings, upon leaving the temple, caught the wind. This caused him to soar far away. Becoming unconscious with pain and grief, Raphael awoke in the desert of death in Queen Nyla's arms. In the final hours of the massacre, Laurent had finally made to the Serenus Forest to find it ablaze. All of its people were on the brink of extinction. The hope that grew in his heart after meeting Misaha was gone. After committing such an atrocity, his only conclusion now is that Benyon could not be healed from within. Quote, "This world has no need for Bayark, and the Laguz are deeply flawed." The Serenus Forest, considered a holy land predating Altina's reign, was completely razed. A once abundant forest had turned into a burnt, unrecognizable corpse of itself. The soft grass was now thick mud, and the natural colors of the land had desaturated completely into a lifeless sea of gray. And from Benyon itself, it grew to deeply regret the actions of this day. People who had participated would beg the goddess late into the hours of the night to forgive them for what they had done. A nation mourned the horrors of it and the loss of the Heron race. After Queen Nyla's rescue of Raphael, she brought him back to her kingdom, Hetari. Hetari was across the seemingly uncrossable desert of death, north of Dayan. Neither Hetari nor the rest of the nations of TELLIUS were aware of each other's existence. Both populations believed they were the only ones to survive the Great Flood. Raphael and Nyla would eventually marry, being so close that there were no secrets between them. They could not bear to be apart. But the grief that Raphael had lost his family and nation overnight due to, quote, mere human ambition would never leave him. For all he knew, he was the last Heron alive. In Phoenicus, Rayson was enduring the same trauma. He had survived, but his own father had become comatose. He was alone. Unlike any Herons, more than sad, fury had filled his heart. He had vowed to never forgive the Bayark for what they had done.
Rayson also just wants to throw hands 24/7. Bro just want to fight, but he got toothpicks for arms, dude. So like, it's just not going to work out for him that way. But it's part of the reason why he looks up to Tibarn, because Tibarn's like the goat of the Hawk tribe, like the goat. Okay. Anyway, he's real mad. He is in his angsty era, rightfully so.
This was a sentiment shared equally among all the bird tribes. Despite the physical separation, they were all allied and knew each other well. In particular, King Naysala of Kilvis was close childhood friends with Rayson and Leanne. Naysala was heartbroken too about the presumed loss of Leanne, who he had always loved. In retaliation, King Tibarn of Phoenicus and King Naysala of Kilvis started pillaging Benyon ships that sailed through the Gazalea Sea from Crimea and Dayan. Benyon was a powerful, rich empire, and the financial loss would be great. But since this was an outright declaration of war, Benyon had no choice but to take the hit. Micaiah, granddaughter to Misaha, was believed to be dead at this time. It is stated outright that if Laurent had any reason to believe she was alive, quote, the history of TELLIUS would have taken a different turn. He seemed absolutely sure of her passing. The senators responsible were confident of it as well, and barely anyone else was aware of her birth. However, she did somehow make it out of Benyon and into Dayan. She was young at the time and did not remember. However, she was looked after an old woman for a period, who was aware of her branded heritage and told Micaiah to tell no one of it. For 23 years from then on, she would live on in Dayan as an anonymous peasant. For Laurent, Asher's words centuries ago came to mind. Quote, if you feel that the world has fallen beyond hope of redemption, sing to awaken us and tell us of the world that your two kinds have built in our absence. Believing that it now was irredeemable, the next step was to awaken Asher and Yoon and tell them that they had failed. However, Laurent lost his ability to use the Galder, to speak to the sleeping goddesses long ago. The only ones who could even use a Galder were the Herons and the Apostles' bloodlines that were recently cut short. The medallion that held Yoon's sleeping form would have no one to sing the Galder asleep to anymore, and the chaotic energies within were now extremely potent. One Heron of the Serenus Forest still lived, barely. Lilia, the eldest princess of Serenus, woke up to a man she did not recognize, Laurent, handing her the medallion and demanding her to sing to awaken the goddess. However, Lilia lacked the power to sing to awaken Yoon. In truth, only the Apostles' bloodline would be able to sing the Galder of Release, even if they knew the lyrics to the magic. When she next awoke, she was in Dane's Pelmeni Temple, a tiny church north of the capital of Nevesa. In Dane, the royal family consisted of a young, ambitious King Ashnard, whose father was on the throne. However, he was low on the line of succession. It was around this time that he met and became involved with a woman named Almeida, who was the only daughter of King Degencia. Like Nazir and Laron before her, she similarly left Goldoa after disagreeing with her father's policy. Almeida believed that the Goldoa should intervene with the continent of TELLIUS and not remain passive to the conflicts of it.
Okay, this is where it starts to get really good. I know that the first 30 some minutes of this have been basically a history lesson. Okay. We're about to get into the nitty gritty of the first game, Path of Radiance. Okay. The events that have taken place so far are just building up to what is inevitably going to happen here, which creates the entire plot of Path of Radiance.
At the time, King Degencia had 3 children, Rajayan, Almeida, and Kurthnaga. Rajayan was engaged to Ina, who was the granddaughter to the king's former advisor Nazir. Upon meeting, Ashnard and Almeida felt a strong intellectual and physical attraction. Almeida thought that Ashnard was wise beyond his years and deserved the throne that was out of his reach. Ashnard's ideals of a world where everyone, regardless of status, could rise up complemented her own. This entanglement resulted in Almeida becoming pregnant soon after. However, Ashnard would likely never become king because of the line of succession, without some of his own intervention. Current foreriders of Dane were made up of General Torneo, Lanvega, Bryce, and Gawain. The 4 riders were actually pretty close and considered each other good friends.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You know who that is.
Gawain, of such legendary strength that even his peers were in awe of it, was engaged to a priestess working at Pelmeni Temple named Elena. There, Lilia had become ill from the stress and grief. Elena was one of the priestesses who came to take care of Lilia in the temple. They were very close. Lilia could read Elena's heart and knew she was unusually pure and full of order for a Beorg. They communicated in ways other than words for a long time, as Lilia did not know the modern language, and Elena did not know the ancient tongue. From here on out, Luron renamed himself Sephron and masqueraded as a Beorg sage from Benyon. Sephron himself had handed Lilia over to Prince Ashnard with the medallion. Ashnard was greatly attracted to the idea of awakening Yoon and what it could mean for the world to start over. While in Dane, Sephron had met with a young knight in service of General Gawain. His name was Zelgius. Upon learning that Sephron was a strong sage, Zelgius had brought him aside and revealed that he was one of the branded. Zelgius was born a Benyon noble, but sometime, generations ago, a member of his father's side of the family had relations with the Laguz that sometimes resulted in a brand appearing through the bloodline.
And also a barrel of ropes for back muscles, dude. God damn. Yeah, Zelgius is like crazy ripped, bro. I don't know if y'all are aware of that or not, but famously strong. So, yeah.
Like a scarlet letter, Zelgius was quickly shunned by his family of proof of the indiscretion. Unable to live with the shame, he ran away to Benyon and joined the military. He wore his armor constantly, hated people seeing his face, and avoided getting close to anyone. However, Zelgius deeply admired his commander, General Gawain, viewing learning swordplay from him as a joy in his life. Gawain showed Zelgius genuine friendship as well, which touched the heart of a pariah like him. Zelgius knew he would have to leave the army in a few years, as his slow aging would become apparent. So he asked Sephron if he knew of a way to magically remove the brand. But sadly, Sephron lacked such knowledge. Upon learning of his plight and feeling a strong affinity, Sephron offered for Zelgius to join him when he was discharged. Some number of months of attending to Lilia had passed. Lilia had never recovered from her illness and was on her deathbed. But Elena finally understood Lilia's plea to take Laron's medallion and the Galdor releases melody, and to leave Dain to keep Ashnard from awakening Yoon. Elena, being one such rare individual with a strong balance between the forces of order and chaos, was able to safely hold and safeguard the medallion. Elena and her fiancé, General Gawain, fled Dayan with Laurent's medallion in hand. They were to find a girl named Valtina, have her sing the Galder, and return the medallion to the altar in the Serenus Forest.
Now, it was briefly touched on there. It was briefly touched on there, so I just want to emphasize. Elena was able to hold the medallion because she was unusually aligned with the Order. Okay? I just want to emphasize that it is important that not just anybody can hold on to the medallion. No particular reason that I'm sure we're going to find out about pretty soon here. Okay. But Elena was special. She was unusual. She had a high roll on the Order line. Okay.
Lilia succumbed to her illness soon after this. Gawain and Elena were pursued by Ashnard's forces the whole way. They went west towards Crimea, before shortly going south Gallia. In Gallia, Gawain changed his name to Grail to escape the previous renown as a famous Dayan general. There, Grail developed a quick friendship with King Kennegus and became one of his personal knights. A Bayard community in Gallia welcomed him in. He and Elena were soon wed and settled down in their new life. Simultaneously, Ashnard had eyes on the throne. Convincing his father to sign a blood pact with a traveler under the guise of a contract for his services, he quickly broke the contract to create a plague of sorts in Dayan. This traveling wise man was Sephron himself. Thousands of people suffered sudden, unexplainable deaths. With just his father left, Ashnard killed the king himself, his bonkers plan successful. Tearing up the contract and taking ground for himself, Ashnard was now king of Dayan. Almeida soon gave birth to Ashnard's son, and Ashnard's gambit was revealed. He intentionally wanted to create a child with one of the black dragons of Goldoa in an effort to create a powerful heir for himself. However, as time would show, the child had no exceptional physical strength, and Almeida, like Laurent and the other Lagus before her, quickly lost her ability to transform into a dragon.
So again, when this happened, Almeida lost her ability to do whatever made her unique as a Lagus. And if you're really good at playing Who's That Hero, the silhouette in white down there shouldn't be too surprising to you.
Ashnard hired, quote, scholars and wildlife experts like Izuka to try to cure.
We hate Izuka. Izuka. Izuka can go die. We don't like him at all.
Almeida's condition, and he did not allow Almeida to see the child. Izuka was indeed a scholar, but quite a wicked one. His prime achievement was a potion he created to twist the minds of Lagus and not allow them to transform back into their normal selves. Ashnard then used the baby to lure Prince Rajayan, Almeida's older brother and heir to Goldoa, to Dayan. Rajayan, aware of the danger, went regardless with his sister and young nephew's safety in mind. However, he and the platoon of red dragons he brought with him failed miserably. Ashnard was no match for the heir of Goldoa on his own. So he lured Rajayan and his men into a trap and injected them all with Izuka's Pharaoh potion. They lost their minds and forgot themselves. This broke Almeida, who lost her Lagus identity, her newborn son, and her older brother in one fell swoop. She would eventually be hidden from the public for over 20 years to avoid her hysteria, negatively affecting Ashnard's rule. Her son would be discarded by Ashnard, as he had no more use for a powerless baby. This baby, the child of King Ashnard of Dayan and Princess Almeida of Goldoa, eventually came to be known as Soren. Around the same time,
very sad. Very sad. But perhaps now it makes sense as to why Grail took him in, right?
King Ramon of Crimea would welcome a child of his own. A daughter named Alencia, she was born in secret and raised in a villa far away from the royal palace. And in the event of a dire circumstances, the royals of each nation would be informed of her birth, but it was a complete mystery to the public. The next in line of succession to Crimea was Rennie, the king's younger brother, who was quite popular with the nobles and citizens alike.
Renning is important, as we talked about earlier. Renning is important. Renning is very important. He'll continue to be even more important here. Just FYI. Valencia, though.
To avoid a tribalist conflict for the throne, Valencia grew up knowing that she was never expected to ascend to queenhood. As a result, she was a rather ordinary girl, raised with 2 of her knights around the same age, learning to fight and do chores with everyone else. Perhaps it was his guilt towards being the cause of Valencia's unique upbringing and secret existence, but Renning visited Valencia quite often, and the two were very close. Somewhere in Dayan, an orphan named TELLIUS was born. While he grew up penniless, his fate would lead him to become quite like Valencia's one day. Some years later, this boy would welcome a spirit into his body. A spirit charmer was a mage who welcomed magical spirits into their body to gain extraordinary magic skill. A wise sage from Gallia and Dayan noticed that a toddler was an apparent spirit charmer at the mere age of only 4. Thinking that this child was a complete prodigy, he gave the woman looking after him a large sum of money for guardianship of him. The woman wept tears of joy to be rid of the child. This boy, Soren, was no mere spirit charmer, though. He was one of the Brandon, although the sage was unaware. The sage was nearing the end of his life, and he wanted to leave behind his magic to a truly great disciple. He brought Soren back to Gallia, and for 2 years, without rest, taught Soren everything he knew about the magical arts. King Ashnard would publicly ascend the throne soon after. Unlike Benyon, which was a land where only nobility could rise to higher military strength, under Ashnard's rule, anyone in Dayan could rise in the military, and thus wider society, based on physical merit alone. Even a penniless man would be allowed to enter the military and become a rich general if he proved his worth. The caveat of this, Dayan's military was highly abusive. General Torneo's son was hired as King Ashnard's guard and came home nearly beaten to death and paralyzed one day after the king's fit of rage. Other generals under his rule would show physical similar abuse towards their troops. Shortly after, Shaharam of Benyon's holy guard of Draco Knights defected, along with his entire
I happen to think this dude has like one of the most punchable faces in all of Fire Emblem. Just for the record. Like you see him and you're just like, yeah, I want to punch him right here. You know what I mean? He's just got that face. He's a very punchable face.
squadron of his art platoon. Among them was Har, his protege. The Draco Knights answered to the Benyon Senate, while the Pegasus Knights answered to the Apostle. Shaharam and his men were fed up with the corruption of the Senate and sought Dayan, knowing they'd be accepted on their strength alone. However, it was not easy for them. They were treated poorly due to their status as immigrants and stationed to one of the most unwelcome and dangerous territories of Dayan, the Tel'Rega region, that was prone to frequent landslides and flooding. A couple years later, Shaharam would welcome a girl named Jill. Crimea and Gallia's alliance, in the time of King Ramon and King Kennegis's reigns, were the strongest they had been in the history of their countries. They regularly held programs to try to ease tensions between the Bayark and Laguz. One such was a soldier exchange program. Grail, now in service of Kennegis, was one of the instructors overseeing it. He was sparring with many of the knights in Gallia's royal hall when one such knight asked him to spar. She was defeated before she could even lift her weapon. But afterwards, this knight named Titania asked Grail to train her.
Yes. Queen. Not literally, but like figuratively, in that she deserves all of our respect.
To her surprise, he agreed, and they eventually became good friends. After a few weeks, he invited her over for dinner. Titania there met Ike. In a couple years' time, the couple would welcome a second child, a daughter named Mist. After 2 years, the sage in Gallia had finally reached the end of his life, leaving a young 6-year-old Soren alone in the world. Soren survived a bit off of food he could find in the house, but was quickly left to roam the forests of Gallia on his own. Quickly, he realized he could not speak despite his mastery of magic, writing and reading at such a young age. Unfortunately, as a member of the Branded in the country of Gallia, his existence was now considered cursed, and the Laguz completely ignored the cries of a starving child alone. And the Bayark living there, wanting to avoid the wrath of the Laguz, harassed him, throwing stones at him, and calling him a devil. Soren would eventually pass out close to a Bayark settlement due to starvation. He awoke to Ike, who lived nearby, and offered Soren some of his own lunch. Soren was suspicious at first, thinking Ike was there to taunt him and snatch the food away once he reached out. But eventually, he took the sandwich out of desperation. Ike offered for Soren to come to his house for more, but Soren was too frightened to enter the Bayark settlement. Ike was feeling happy he was helping someone, and compromised, telling Soren he'd come back with more food the next day, and Soren's heart was deeply touched by this pure gesture from the boy who, quote, held out a warm hand when he had nothing. However, Ike and Soren would not reunite the next day. That day, Grail happened to touch Laurent's medallion by a complete accident. Yoon,
If you were wondering, wow, I know that the story in some areas sounds really dark, but at least it sounds really nice for Grail and Ike and Mist and Elena and everybody over in Gallia seems to be like really happy. Soren found a friend. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
sleeping inside, had not had the Galder of sleep sung to her by one of the Herons in almost 10 years. Her chaotic energies had completely overwhelmed Grail and went berserk. He mindlessly slaughtered his neighbors in the settlement who had welcomed him without a care for his past. He slaughtered Ashnard's assassins who had come to take the medallion, and he had slain his own wife, Elena, who ran to him without hesitation to take the medallion from his grasp, trying to save him from its chaos. With a smile, Elena forgave Grail as her own blood spilled onto the street. Grail immediately passed out from the shock. A young 5-year-old Ike, unfortunately, witnessed the entire event, speechless from shock. He stood stunned, seeing his mother dead. It was at this moment that more visitors from Dain arrived, who had caught the trail of the missing General Gawain. It was Severin and his companion Zelgius. A very young Mist, suddenly emerging from the house, obliviously asked why her parents were lying in the street. Severin lied, saying they were sleeping, and Zelgius took their bodies inside the house at her request. Severin, seeking to reclaim the medallion, went to reach for it, but was stopped by Mist, who knew only of the bronze object as her mother's secret treasure. She grabbed it from his hand, and he was stunned to see she could hold it without succumbing to its chaotic energy. Severin decided to keep the medallion with Mist for the time being, as she was, as far as he knew, one of the only ones who could hold it. Severin then coaxed the two to sleep with a sleep staff, and cast a spell to place a lock on Ike's memories, to prevent the trauma of that day from burdening his young mind. Severin and Zelgius took off once more, now knowing the location of the medallion, and confident that it would not fall into the wrong hands in the meantime.
Well, things were nice. Right? Things were nice. You're about to find out why Grail is a lefty, by the way.
Grail awoke, horrified at what he had done. So that he would never again use his full strength, he slashed the tendons on his Zorn arm. That night, Kennegus went to Grail and asked him why assassins were pursuing him into Gallia, asked if he could do anything to help. Grail revealed nothing. He promptly left Gallia and headed north to Crimea with Ike and Mist. Soren, when Ike did not appear at their agreed upon time, approached the now corpse-littered village. Desperately, he checked every body. When he did not see Ike among the dead, he vowed in his heart to meet him again. He traveled north to Crimea and eventually found sanctuary in a barrack church willing to feed him and learned how to speak, thinking he was an ordinary barrack orphan. Soon after in Crimea, Grail contacted a fireman. He confessed to Volke, an assassin, on what had transpired and promised to give him a large sum of money for a job. Volke was to either kill Grail if he ever went berserk again, or in the event of Grail's death, to trail Grail's son Ike and tell him the preceding events when he was ready. After this, Grail took up the axe and founded a mercenary company, Crimea, along with Titania, who had left the Crimean Royal Knights. Soon after this, a sniper named Shianon would also join the newly dubbed Grail Mercenaries. Ike and Mist continued to live as normal children. Their memories of their mother would grow distant and fade more with each passing year. However, the unknown lullaby tune that Elena would sing to them stuck in their heart, the Galder release. In the next handful of years, Micaiah, much older now, met a quiet boy in the alleys of Nemessa. At first, the scrawny boy, Soth, watched her from afar. After a few days, Micaiah noticed he was still watching her and held her hand out to him. Like a scared cat, he steadily approached her and put his tiny shaking hand into hers. She, quote, couldn't let go after that, and from then on, they traveled the continent together like siblings. Within this time period, Severin had established himself in Zelgius.
Which, by the way, if you ever heard that the uh Bride Micaiah Soth duo thing, like have you ever heard people having like a weird vibe about that? or just any conversations about how Micaiah is nervous about Soth and stuff. Like, they were never really a love interest. I feel like Faye kind of warped that a little bit. But they were much, much closer to like being siblings almost, like lore wise. And some people do not care for the shipping that takes place kind of implied through Faye. But originally, initially, and in my mind, they are much more like siblings rather than love interests.
As nobles in the Benyon Empire. Sephram himself was gaining political power in the region of Persis. It would be not long until he was the youngest senator in Benyon's history, or so he appeared to be. He was named Duke of Persis. Zelgius would be the Earl of Cadol. In Benyon, the public despair from the lack of a sitting apostle.
God, don't you just want to like take their heads and just bonk them together? You know what I mean? Speaking of punchable faces.
And Empress in 10 years was reaching the boiling point. While the Senate, especially Duke Godot's Lacane, would have been much happier to remain the only seat of power in Benyon, they now knew they needed to restore the Apostles' bloodline. Misaha's child had another daughter, this one at least 13 years younger than the first. Her name was Sanaki. The citizenry got their wish. Sanaki was crowned the 37th Apostle and Empress of Benyon at a mere 5 years old. Quote, it was as if a sigh of relief resounded across the country. And Severin was named her aide and prime minister.
So if you're wondering, perhaps why they make a 5-year-old an empress, we're returning to the age of puppet leaders, right? Where the Senate controlled everything, which was different from the previous leadership that Laron had met, right? And was like, oh, things are good. Yay. Right? Senate doesn't like that anymore. They want to return to a golden age of, puppet royalty where they actually were pulling the strings.
Sanaki, acting like any normal child her age, often wept terribly because of the recent passing of her parents. To calm her tears, all Severin did was hold her in his arms. The two bonded instantly, and eventually had a relationship similar to a father and daughter. From Severin's side, he knew the truth, that she was actually a distant descendant of him and Altina. Sanaki, however, was unaware of his real identity, and simply loved him as a kind-hearted mentor and father figure.
And again, remember, Micaiah technically is too, but they don't know about Micaiah. Just a reminder. And she is an odd descendant. She's 37th. Remember.
Sanaki's coronation. Severin held her tiny hand as she walked down the cathedral, even as she stumbled and tripped over her robes, much too big for a person of her stature. The sight of Severin and Sanaki together, quote, a young, handsome prime minister and an adorable apostle, was all the Benyon citizens need to give their unflinching support. In these next few years, the Grail mercenaries would greet new members. Among them were the brothers Oscar, Boyd, and Rolf. The middle younger Boyd was around the same age as Ike and Mist, but the youngest Rolf was still quite young. Another, Reese, was a cleric who saved Titania's life. The last was Soren, who had finally found Ike after all those years of searching. Ike's memories of their first meeting, however, were part of those that Severin had put the lock on before. He remembered nothing. Regardless, Soren was content to simply be at Ike's side. Ashard was king of Dain for 18 long years. Deciding it was time to finally act, he made preparations for the plan that Severin had told him of decades ago. Start a war that engulfs the entire continent, awaken the so-called Dark God inside the medallion, and see what kind of world he could make in the aftermath. Thank you for watching, everyone, especially if you made it to the end. This was a pretty hefty video. This was part 1 of 2. The next part will be mostly a recap of the events of Path of Radiance and Raging Dawn, so I'll be taking my time getting it out. If you just play the games, it's about the same experience. So this video was just about presenting the facts, but I'll release a short analysis video on my own conclusions later. I'd like to thank everyone who beta read my script. Because of them, I think I only made a single mistake, And as I said earlier, thank you so much to the resources.
Which really wasn't a mistake that big a deal. It was about somebody going back to Dane, and I think they said Benyon instead, but not even that big a deal.
And translators in this community, please check their work out. As far as the credits, I did want to credit any Fire Emblem Cypher and Heroes artists shown, since their name is always credited on the card and unit artwork. Otherwise, the artwork was all official and done by the art team of these games. So Senri Kita, Daisuke Iizuka, and Sachiko Wada. As for the assets,
Wada the goat.
I made the map artwork myself, as well as the icons and layout for this video. The stock emojis.
What?
I made the map artwork myself, as well as the
Yo, that's tight.
icons and layout for this video. The stock emojis were all done by Iru Sutora. I know their work is free use, and you don't need to credit them, but if I'm already credited in the other artists featured, why not? But I've been working on this script for about 8 months, so thank you.
Bro, 8 months. Bro. That's crazy. Soniki and Micaiah were supposed to be sisters. They are. The mark showed up on Micaiah, and they didn't like that. So they got her out of there because she had the brand. Because it only showed up every other Empress generation, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the case. So it skipped Soniki, and it would show up on the next Empress. That makes sense, I think. Anyway.
All for your patience. The next step is regular content of this channel, mostly shorter design videos, but I have some longer chatty videos planned. If you like my work and want to support me, this is where you can find me on other socials. I also have a Ko-fi, and also my commissions are currently open as of the time recording this. Shoot me an email.
Wait. That looks hella familiar. I think I bought some of their art. I'll have to look into that. I swear I have a Micaiah that's drawn very similar in this style as a print, and I didn't realize that. I could be wrong, but I feel like I do. I'll look into that. Anyway, W video. Very W. Very W. If you guys want to go show some love over there, the pinned comment on Twitch and YouTube chats are of the channel right here. You can go check them out. Show some support, some love. I think part 2 is in works based on previous conversations. So, by all means, go show us some love if you want. I'm gonna make Jenna watch it with me again. Just straight up. I'm gonna make her watch it with me again. I've been debating having Jenna watch a game that I play, and I think it's between Final Fantasy VII and the TELLIUS games. I don't know which one I would want her to experience more, to be honest, but very good video. Very solid. Again, after like the first 6 minutes, I knew it was going to be a banger, which is why I asked if we could watch it on stream. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I will eagerly be awaiting part 2. But I think that gives you a pretty solid foundation for what leads up to the events of Path of Radiance. So, very cool. Very good. W video. Go drop a like if you guys are feeling inclined. And now we have some free product to check out that I hope will work and not make fuzzy noises like it just did. Oh no, it's fine. Can't connect to network. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? That's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Oh, yeah, that's messed up. Yeah, no, that's messed up. Hold on. Hold up. We can fix it. Maybe. Come to me. Come to me. Okay. W. Did I do it? Nope. I sure didn't do it. Okay. Well, we'll do. Oh, wait. Wait for it. Wait for it. I think it fixed. I probably should have just unplugged the darn thing, but oh, I'm thinking about that. All right. Let me swap over here to the right categories. Let me see. Guess it's that. Warriors, all cap. Oh, can I do... Cool. All right. Cool. I will apply those settings. Yes, thank you. It's autosave. It's fine. There we go. W. All right, I don't know what to expect with this, but I have high hopes. I guess we gotta go new, right? Shout out to Koei Tecmo. They were kind enough to give me a free copy of the game. And even the launch day DLC, which is super cool. So shout out Koei Tecmo. If you guys are not familiar with Warriors games, they are, well, think of they've done a couple Fire Emblem titles. They've also done oh wow, that's real loud probably. They've also done what am I thinking? They've also done some Zelda games, Warriors spin-offs, but Dynasty Warriors is like I think the legacy title that they have, right? So they were heavily involved in Three Hopes. That's this style. This, however, is a roguelite. So it's always a little bit different generatively. Okay. We got costume options. Okay. Okay.
よくぞ参じた輝ける魂よ喜べそちには我が剣となる名誉をくれてやるでは早速共になんじゃその何か言いたげな顔は
Is that Kid Wizard?
何が何やらさっぱりじゃと
Nani. Correct. Tutorial. I'm down.
聖者の集う現世にあらず死せる魂のみが赴く暗き世界メイドであるそしてわしこそはそのメイドを滑る王そう世にも恐ろしきあの閻魔大王じゃここ閻魔王宮にて亡者の魂を見定め裁きを下す任についておる閻魔様とあらん限りの畏敬を込めて呼ぶがよいさあ
I'll be hype.
良い返事じゃでは続けるぞ王たるわしが現世より措置を呼び立てた理由現世において在庫を重ねし亡者が落ちる地獄
So if you guys don't know what a roguelite is, I think the most popular one in recent days has been Hades. If you recall back a couple years ago. I think Hades 2 came out last year. Or got announced last year, one of the two.
どういうわけか奴は目覚めた強大な力をまとったゴーマは思うままに暴走しかも奴の暴走に触発されたのか地獄に落ちし亡者らも皆牙をむき出し始末結果今や地獄は極卒どもでは手に負えぬほどまがまがしき魔境へと変わり果ててしまったのじゃわしはメイドの王として再びゴーマを沈め地獄を正しき姿に戻さねばならぬ
Why is this guy making us do his dirty work? Respectfully.
この王門は地獄
So we're going into hell. We're getting hell back from Goma, I think is what happened. Blazing Waste. Got it. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know any controls. It just occurred to me. Okay, it's going to tell us. Normal attacks, charge attacks. Got it. Oh, we're comboing. Now we're comboing, though. Ooh, that's nice. Hey, yo. I see something over there. What are you? Ooh, gosh. Okay. That's a nice one. Oh, I can't adjust the camera, though. I don't think. All right, we got 50 of 50 cleared. Pressing X while attacking can cancel your attacks. Oh, nice. So we get a little dodge in, huh? Okay. Nice. Bro, you gotta try harder than that. That's crazy. Did I just knock him off? What happened? Into the lava! That's tight. Oh, we have Mosu? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. All right, we're action packed, bro. We're freaking gaming right now. Okay. Okay, upgrades. Got it. Which one? Oh. Slay. Upgrade Slay attribute, defense and summoning skill, or attack and range effects. I feel like range is good, no? I feel like range is always goated, no? Okay. Where are we at? Wait, where'd they go? Oh, they're coming up. They bubbling up. Beautiful. Easy. Say less. Oh, dang. I'm kind of fast. I'm kind of fast with it. Used when forming bonds with heroes in a hall of bonded souls. Okay. Jazz, the game loud enough for you? You bump it up a little bit. Okay. So I'm assuming we pump souls into the tree that gives us more powers? Oh. Oh, that's a twist. Okay. Military forces and heroes in their own souls. Okay. Interesting. Bro, I have so many options. What the heck? Oh, he looks dope. Okay, we just unlocked her. Okay. Some of these guys are looking familiar. I have played a handful of Dynasty Warriors before. Some of these guys look familiar. Keep the buck. Mostly like these guys. Here. Dude, Hanzo has to be sick, right? Bro has to be sick, right? I don't know if I was supposed to switch already, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Yup. Dude, that was sick. Okay. Ooh, what?
ゴーマメとの開口を果たすまで我らはこの歪みを通り地獄を歩むこととなろう。分かったな。ではさ、と言いたいところじゃが、こうせよ黒き滅地。我が神魂のホムラをはみて。
Beat upon my heart's embers and reveal your spectacular light. Why though? Oh. Pretty tree.
触れれば様々な力を得られよう。地獄での戦いが楽になること。なあなあ、どうじゃ？すごいじゃろ。嬉しいじゃろ。おう、自ら授けてやってるのじゃ。
I would 100% ask for something else. W tree though.
今はそうじゃな。
Okay. Wait. Oh, do I have? Oh, I have to pick her. Okay. Right? Oh, no way, I don't. Okay, cool. She's speed, but I'm already playing speed. So we have flame power. Maybe I do go Kunoichi and just get crazy speed. Yeah. Tight. I saw something of a reroll down there. I don't know what that was going to accomplish. Okay. A lot of options. Not as many options. He's cool. Also cool. Also cool. But like, isn't everybody over here? I guess not everybody's over here, but Oh yeah, pretty much. Okay, let's go this one. More options is better, right? It's got to be. Okay. W summon. I think we go Slay, yeah. We're already pretty fast, you know. Oh, wait. Can we swap mid-run? Okay. Cool. All right, who we got? Oh, so we can re-roll. Oh. Formation skills. What are formation skills? I want to know what formation skills are. Okay. Good picks there. Massive picks there. Okay, so if you don't plan to re-roll, a bolt emblem. Interesting. Okay. I'll give this a go. Why not? No reason not to. Oh, he big. Tight. Love that for me. Alliance time. Attack actions. Oh, we got a lot of stuff with with Kenshin. Upgrade bolt power. So these two are pretty much the same. He has more options. Let's go with Kenshin. More options always better, right? I hit the wrong button. I didn't mean to hit the wrong button. Bro, I'm just fast. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just quick with it, bro. I'm gonna keep busting this dude's chops. Intentionally busting chops. Alright. Attack and life draining slay. Oh, these two are locked. Okay, so we gotta go with him. I mean, that sounds dope anyway, right? Okay. Okay, so this is the everybody option. Wisdom emblems only. Tears of Blood. Can be spent at King's Cauldrons. I don't know what that is. We'll try that out. Just because the other option doesn't seem that exciting this time. So we'll give this a shot. Big purple area, bad. Bro, say less. Okay, we get item stuff then. That's cool. A mission has appeared? Oh, dude, I think we gotta go that one then, right? I mean, if it's a mission, I gotta know what it is. R2. Everybody? Oh, everybody coming down. Oh my god. Yo, that was sick. Defeat 80 enemies within 45 seconds. Done. Easy. Ooh. Assemble is good. Assemble has been very W so far. I'm chilling, bro. I don't believe he's a century old. Okay, I'll say it. Yeah, that's a kid. Get out of here, kid. Oh. Came back. Juicy meat! Okay. I will keep it a buck. I don't think I know how to use that yet. But, Oichi? Guy or Ishikawa? Should we try and re-roll? I've not re-rolled yet. Ooh. That could be W. That could be very W. Okay, I regret my decision. Probably should have stuck with him. Evasion count and ice power. I wonder if the rerolls stick. Yo. Okay, yes. We want him. We want him. Yep. Yeah, we like Yukimura. Hell yeah, bro. Oh, and you change your formations here. Okay, it's starting to click. Okay, that's a tree. This is a pear? Or a peach? Let's go down here. I'm into it. Whoa. We had 20, right? Oh, we have 33 hundo? It has it has gambling, so we can spend more and take the guaranteed. Or we can gamble. Well, that's nice. Okay, that's for speed. Let's gamble. Why not? I don't know if this will help us. Cool. We did it. Nice. Ooh, yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we want to change formations to be this one now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's put you there. And let's put you there. Okay. And I think we're good. What a fun little area this is. No, if I'm supposed to run around, but it's fun. All right. Oop. Wait, what's over here? Nothing, probably. Brian, there's nothing there. Just let's move on. Move on with your time, man. There's nothing over there, bro. This seems like a boss. I'll say it. I think we're in boss territory now. Tight. I need to get Yukimura in. Okay. Easy. Yeah, okay. That might be the first time we got... Oh, okay. That might be the first time we got hit. Big damage. No! What happened to my big... My juicy... Whatever... Oh, I died. Damn. That sucks. I wonder if we were supposed to lose. Probably not, huh? Oh, dude. We got some formations, though. That's kind of tight. All right. Let's try... Oh, the flame show ones we've used, huh? Let's take Yukimura. The GOAT. The OG GOAT. Dude. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's good to have assemble and summons. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let me in here. I thought she paired with us before. Is that the case? Let me reroll. Hanzo's cool. We'll bring him. Probably good support if nothing else. Just the one. Okay, and this one probably has more options. Oh no. Okay, so 3 specific attributes we got this time. That's for vigor. This is for skill. We'll go here. Why not? Oh, we got multi-platform action, bro? Ice, speed, or strength? I'll go strength. Easy. Oh, it's over there. Yoink. All right, Ina. Ooh, I think we want this, right? This has flames. She gave a crazy strength buff last time, too. But we already have flame, so I think we want more flame. Because how that works. Okay, Ina, I see you. Yep, we take her. Okay, so the rerolls don't reset. That's good to know. I need to be careful with those then. Can I change? No. Formations matter when we pick them up. Get it. Increase maximum health. Vigor. He's probably really good, actually. I'm going off of my limited knowledge on Dynasty Warriors. These guys are flame. These guys are lightning and slaying. Oh, he's flame. Oh, he's over there too. All right, let's go here. The pickups here seem more consistent, I think. Hello, bro. Okay, I think I've got the hang of the summons now. Yo, yes. Yup. Yes, sir. Okay, that's a mission. That's a mission. My. This is wisdom. I think this is just everybody. Yeah, this is everybody. Let's go here. That might be okay. Ooh. Big damage. Mission down. Oh God. Okay. I will take that. Thank you. Karma Embers. I don't know what those are. Put them down. I feel like this is a good pickup. I think we still, yeah, we only have keyhole. Oh, more embers. He might be good to pick up. I see flame, I go flame. Dude, that purple stuff keep following me. That's not cool. That is incredibly satisfying. Oh my lord. More embers. Cool. We could also pick up her. Oh, he's got extended assemble too. So yeah, let's grab him. I haven't even used my Mosu yet. Yeah, let's go here. I'm gonna just try and run as many mission drops as I can. Speaking of Mosu attack. Hey! Oh, we're about to go boss mode, huh? Okay. Alright, who we got? Can I roll anybody that has the... Oh, it's literally just these three, huh? Alright, dude. I think we want that. I think he gives good support. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay. All right. What's up, big boy? I'm back. Yes, sir. No, how do I keep getting hit by those things? I'm dodging. Maybe I'm out of dodge. Dude, I'm so afraid. Dude, how? Okay, I ran out of dodges way too quickly on that. Oh, I did hold back on my Mosu, didn't I? Yeah, that's my bad. I felt like that one was pretty good. Okay. So, exclamation points good. South? Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, that's what the flame currency thing is for. Okay. Okay. I got you. What's up, bro? Oh my god, dude. There's so many options. I know that we were talking like play combinations in the billions, but like this is crazy. That's crazy. Oh my lord. That's fun though. I like that a normal amount. You guys may not know this, but I have like a little soft spot for like bullet hells and roguelites. Just games that I can pick up, play pretty quickly, and then move on with my day. Which is why, honestly, gacha games kind of appeal to me as a whole. I will admit that is low key. That's kind of addicting. I want to play more right now, but it is getting late. So I got to wrap up stream. There is my stuff. There it is. All right, chat. I got to wrap up stream. But I wanted to run through Hall of Forms real quick. because I was going to do that anyway. So if you're down, I'm down. Let me see. Thank you again to Koei Tecmo. They literally didn't ask me to play it on stream. They just asked if I wanted free product and then gave me free product, which is what I love. I don't like the obligation of having to give a certain spin on something, or, you know, I think fun games, good games should just speak for themselves, and this one low key kind of does. So I like it a lot. I will be returning to this. I'm kind of wishing I had got the Switch version though, because they had asked me if I wanted the PlayStation or PS5 or Switch version, and I was like, probably PS5, I guess. But I mean, this has major. This feels like it was made for Switch. I'll be honest. The top down and everything. It's very feels very good in that regard. Okay. Let me do this. Do that real quick. Let me go dark real quick so I can switch some cables around. Because I'm going to have to crawl under desks and whatnot. Ugh. Okay, where are you? My cable. Where did you go? I do not know. Yo, W, it's right here. Okay, cool. About that later, I guess. Ugh. All right, I think I need to better optimize my my layout here for cables and cords and whatnot. Hooey. All right. That was tight. I like that a lot, actually. It makes me want to play Hades and several other dungeon crawlers. I think the benefit of that is if you have a lot of like Dynasty Warriors history in the fandom, then that's going to give you a bit more nostalgia. For that. Which I had Dynasty Warriors on the Wii. I don't remember which Dynasty Warriors it was. Like 6 or 8, maybe. Can't remember. My friend Kevin and I played it in college, which was pretty exciting. This we have to redo it. We gotta redo it. There we go. May's been leveled. How about that? I'll never understand why USBs are so difficult to put into the slots. Ugh. There we go. There we go. We're so back, dude. I've been grinding out Tempest Trials all day. Oh, I guess this is spoilers, huh? I didn't realize this was spoilers. I did get a May. Fun fact. I guess you guys know that now. And I've leveled up a bunch of stuff that I got.
Hop into it.
A male in 2025. That's crazy. Okay, I think that's all that. All right. Oh God, Summoner Duels is this weekend. I mean, that's fine. I've definitely prepared a team.
Ready and waiting.
For sure, I've prepared a team. Definitely have done that.
Let's begin.
What's the plan? Very well. Yes?
Is Micaiah like Gucci? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Slime Mirror, Attack Res Discord, also Ploy with Flare. Yeah, that's what PM1 suggests. So really, we're just looking at Lucia. Oomst. Has Gust, has Reposition Gate. Has Speed Taker. So Endless Tempest and Attack Speed Excel is what we're looking at. And if we get those, we will pull her with those.
If you're certain, very well. What's the plan?
Truly. I'll settle this.
As you wish. Ready and waiting.
Decide.
Yes? If you're certain. What's the plan?
Fight me, Hinoka. That's right. Freaking loser. All right. No Excel.
Hold the line.
Hell. Wait, when is daylight savings?
Very well.
Is that soon? I feel like that's soon, right? The second Sunday in March. 2025, maybe? Unbelievable. I typed DLS and they thought I meant dream something. Dreamlight Soccer. Oh, it's this Sunday. Ooh. I lose an hour this weekend? That seems wildly unfair. I don't know about that. Lagoo's friend. Okay. All right.
One less threat.
I did summon. It was... I won't give it away.
As you wish.
It's coming out tomorrow,
Let's begin.
I guess now.
Yes?
I was going to say today. It's not anymore. It is 11:30. It's probably too late for that. She's a bit late for that, probably. I'll just put it live tomorrow before we go live with gotchas. That'll be my plan. In fact, I'll go ahead and set that up tonight. That way it's ready to go. I meant to have it go live today before stream started, but I got preoccupied with stuff. But I did get a May, as was evident from the level 40 screen that you saw, or maybe didn't. Spoilers.
Ready and waiting. Very well.
I'll settle this. Truly.
Clutch. But right now, I'm just desperately trying to burn through torches. And see if we can hit like an optimal did Jenna go live tonight?
I think we are live.
Oh, she was live 2 hours ago.
This is probably a stream that I have planned the least, but that's okay. Because I said that I was going to go live on Friday.
Hey, she's doing it though. She's doing it though. Tomorrow we are gonna build up Celestia and May though. That's my plan. Let's see. Do we want any of these? We don't want any of these. We're getting like, why does this feel so loud? Am I crazy? Do I have this like set too loud? Oh, I do. That's set way louder than I thought it was. Yes, Hall of Farms. You.
As you wish.
Ow.
As you wish. What's the plan?
Let's begin.
Don't slam your finger on the table. That's the rule 1 here. Dude, you guys are showing up at the worst time. All the cool stuff has happened already. What's up, El Ray? I'm terribly sorry, but the rest of the stream's going to be kind of mundane.
Face me if you dare.
Learned about Tellius lore.
Very well.
We got some
If you're certain.
Abyss Warriors in.
Decide.
I will give my all.
Now I'm just burning up torches. Which, truthfully, I'm only doing live because I would literally end stream and do this anyway. And I figured, why not get a couple? Why not get a clean 3-hour stream in rather than like a 2.5-hour stream? Slime Mirror L. Dude, come on, brother. I am kind of proud of myself. I did a better job about adjusting my torches this time. Normally, it's like I have 15 left at the end. I only have...
Ready and wait. What's the plan?
I had 9 this time. I was doing a couple a day.
Yes.
Wait, did I?
Ready and waiting.
I'll settle this.
Truly.
I don't... Ooh. Did Lucia die?
Yes.
Like, or did she get the first kill? Oh, yeah, she did. Okay, cool. Cool. That's fine. So long as we get it, that's all that matters. Yikes. All right. Busy with life? Well, let me tell you.
Very well.
The Tellius lore was lit.
What's the plan? As you wish.
Decide.
So if you're going to rewatch anything,
If you're certain. Yes?
That is
Ready and waiting. As you wish.
definitely worth a watch.
Let's begin.
Which you could just watch the original video and not my
Very well.
VOD, to be honest. But it was really well done. Yo, we got it. We got one. Okay, thank God. I was like, dude, if Endless Tempest is down here, I'm gonna be so upset. Because like the frustration I would feel if we got both of the skills we needed on the same roll, but obviously you can only pick one. I'd be so upset. I want to repo you
If you're certain.
and then put you there.
Decide.
That's what I want to do.
Give my all.
But yeah, the TELLIUS lore was done really well,
I'll settle this.
which is why I wanted to
Ready and waiting.
watch it with everybody. Honestly, I tried to add some commentary in between,
You're certain.
for like little extra content, context bits, because it was really like a. We want puzzle play. We don't want puzzle play. We just want Endless Tempest. That's what we want. Or honestly, Panic, Fail Smoke. Fail Smoke also fine.
Face me if you dare.
But I was trying to give little bits of context here and there, from my own perspective.
Very well.
Let's begin.
Ready and waiting. As you wish.
Tight.
The plan.
I think we'll be fine. Oh, I should just be auto battling after that, huh? I think Micaiah and Lucy are so stacked currently that they won't just like insta fall. F. Oh, dude, I've been watching. Okay, so
Do what I must.
at work, which is here, my work day job setup is here. My night stream setup is here. So I'm at the same desk 24/7. But during the day, I will literally have YouTube on 24/7. I've gotten into this
If you're certain. Ready and waiting.
I listen to thrift videos
Decide.
in the background now. Where it's just this one dude who goes around and
Yes.
finds stuff at garage sales.
Very well.
And it's like my new favorite thing. Life was empty without it prior to this. And I've learned a lot, truthfully, about I'm going through my physical media era, I think. Where I
The plan.
wanna get old games
If
and
you're certain.
I'll settle this.
consoles and have some kind of like preservation on that. In an ever-growing digital world, it's nice to have physical copies of things. I feel much stronger about that now than I have in the past. We are literally just looking for Endless Tempest.
I will give my all.
We need a C skill with a boot.
Ready and waiting. As you wish.
Truly, I will give my all.
Let's begin.
Okay, solid. Banger track. Dang, man. I can't catch a break.
As you wish.
I mean, we did get Excel, so
If
it's
you're certain.
Decide.
Yes.
can't catch a break is a literal term, I guess. A hyperbolic term. We've actually caught a fair amount of breaks, to be honest. Yu-Gi-Oh YouTubers? Oh shoot. Okay. Oh, it's not here anymore. Okay, next Friday. Yu-Gi-Oh! Classics, baby. We're going back. We're going back. We're going back to the early games eras.
Plan. Very well.
I truthfully would have played that tonight, but I had asked about the TELLIUS lore video if we could watch it from the creator like a while ago. And Koei Tecmo gave me free product like a fair amount of time ago. Yeah, I got the early days collection. I got the physical one. I haven't even opened it yet because I've been waiting to do it on stream to find out which Harpy's Feather Duster we get. But I've had it at my desk for over a week now. And I literally just moved it back to be by the TV earlier today. So it is no longer here, but it's over there now. Come on, man.
If you dare. Ready and waiting. If you're certain.
Nice. All right, we back. 14 games is a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying how I like having games I can just pick up and play and put down. Because, like, dude, the the people waiting on, like, story playthroughs of 3.1 and 2.1 HSR and WoWA respectively, like, I can't sit down and just play it. Like, I don't have that much time. I have like an hour and a half a day that's not typically accounted for in some capacity. And it's just hard. So I think I'm going to start doing like smaller runs of the story plays. I did a poll on YouTube, I think, didn't I? I don't know that I ever checked it. Posts. Oh yeah, overwhelmingly people want the multiple uploads. Yeah. So that works out better for me too. So that's nice. It would be really dope if I could just land Endless Tempest and not have to go through all these flipping torches. That'd be really sick.
As you wish.
If we collectively could do that.
What's the plan?
For me,
Very well.
Let's begin.
would be very cool.
If you're certain. Ready and waiting.
I will give my all.
Decide.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever told you this, Elroy, but or if I've told
As you wish.
people in general. But I like roguelites and I like bullet hells and stuff that's just like fast-paced gameplay for like 10-15 minutes at a time. 20 if you're good, but I'm not, so anytime I play a bullet hell, it doesn't last that long. But it's nice because as I was playing through Warriors Abyss, I was like, oh, this would have been really dope to have on the Switch. But I got the PS5 version because I'm an idiot and I asked for the PS5 version. And I should have got the Switch version.
What's the plan?
But I didn't.
Very well.
I was like, oh, I bet that'd be dope on PS5. But in reality, like, the functionality of it being on Switch is so awesome.
As you wish.
A lot like Hades, obviously, being a roguelite, but or a top-down roguelite, I should say. But yeah, man, I don't have the time anymore. I think that's why gacha games are a good fit for me most of the time, because it's just like, oh, I can hop on, hop off. pause, do whatever I need to do.
As you wish.
Autoplay, that's another really nice functionality that everyone should have.
Certain.
Oh, okay, Camilla. Camilla Shersh combo that
As you wish.
ought to be illegal.
Decide.
Truly.
Freaking rude.
Very well.
Okay, now we can. Now we can get our auto on. Could have got there with Endless Tempest, just saying. Endless Tempest. Oh. I guess I don't even have to look at the top skills anymore, huh? We got everything else we're after.
Ready and waiting. If you're certain.
Ah, book 7. Look at the old days. Come on. Bruh. Illegal.
One last threat.
Literally illegal. I wonder if they're ever going to let you pick up echo skills.
I'll settle this.
Probably not. It would be nice, though.
I will give my all.
iOS is giving you a $3 a month Fade Pass for the first 3 months. That's actually a really good deal. That's like more than half off, isn't it?
Very well.
Honestly, don't remember how much Fade Pass is. I'll be honest with you. I don't remember how much Fade Pass is. Bana, 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 bana. Ah,
I will give my all.
I just need the boots, dude.
If you're certain.
Give boots.
As you wish.
Oh yeah, I don't have that anymore, do I?
Ready and waiting.
I'm so dumb.
Truly.
Oh, I'm so dumb.
As you wish.
Okay, there we go. That's fine. We get there. Yeah, I want to say it's like $9.49 or something. Something that should just be $9.99, but it's not. But then we just rounded up to 10 anyway. You Quick and Pulse? Quick and Pulse! That's something. Nope.
Hold the line.
We need 25.
If you're certain. Very well.
Clutch. Come on. Please. Oh no. What a tragic final matchup. Boulder. That's fun. Breath of Life. Wait, do I want Breath of Life over Fatal Smoke? Probably not. Probably not. I don't think she has the defensive prowess to properly utilize it.
Give my all.
As you wish. What's the plan? Very well.
Clutch. Reopening and potent. Wow, shiny. So shiny. Do we only have 5 rolls left?
Ready and waiting. If you're certain.
I mean, truthfully, I'd probably keep her anyway. But it would be nice to get Endless Tempest. It would be nice to get Brutal Tempest. But that's obviously not an option. Because they plan this stuff. Alright. Dude. Joint hone speed in this economy. That's
I will do what I must.
That's pretty nuts.
Yes.
I'll settle this.
Ready and waiting. Very well.
Boom. And we're on. 33 defense is not a lot for Breath of Life 4. True. I'm kind of waiting to see if they do a res-based one for that. Or does Breath of Life 4 work for res too? I thought it was only defense. Wild. Oh god, this is so disappointing.
Hold the line.
So disappointing. I swear if it's the last one, dude, I'm gonna lose my mind.
If you're certain.
If we end up getting Endless Tempest on the very last roll, dude. I wanted to go sleep, but that's not an option, evidently.
Face me if you dare.
I don't get to sleep yet. Game says no.
Very well.
Game's like, we know you were up at 4:30 this morning, but like, you know. Too bad. Nice. Okay. Bummer. All right.
I will give my all.
Last one.
Let's begin.
I will give my all.
Hopes and prayers.
Ready and waiting. If you're certain.
We did
What's the plan?
get I say we like you guys were there with me. Micaiah got built pretty early on. Like she was good to go. I would say at least 70% of my torches just went to Lucia.
Very well. Yes.
Can I just auto? We'll just auto. I don't know why I didn't auto. I think my brain is shutting down. All right. B skill 1, 2, 3. C skill 1. Insight. Okay. C skill 2. Join close guard. Skill 3. Bro, joint hone res, you gotta be freaking kidding me. You gotta be flipping kidding me, bro. Joint hone res, man. Come on. I'm thinking about Insight. Because that would at least give me an attack speed buff. I'm thinking about Insight. Because it might be better than nothing. All right. If it's heads, we go with Insight. If it's tails, we go Fatal. But it has to be tails twice. Okay, for real this time. Heads Insight, tails. Okay, you know what? I think this is one of those instances where the outcome is not what I'm wanting, and therefore my true desire is that I actually want Insight. So I'm going to pick up Insight. I'm going to do that. Done. It's better than none. Tempest would have been better, but it's whatever. It's whatever. We can't have nice things. Fine. All right. What else? What else? What else? What else? Anything? I think we're good, man. Do I need to do anything today? I don't think so. Dude, the rewind feature on early days is so sick. I like it a lot. Oh, I have to battle today, don't I? We got fight. Hold up. We got fight. Full disclosure, I did auto create this one, so I didn't check any. A guy? Or sorry, Guy. I think his name is Guy. Bro? That Marine is lit, dude.
Leave it to us.
Let's go there.
We'll make a path. Yes, let's. Yes. Wise choice. It will be done.
Do I want to do that?
By your will. Off I go.
I think I do.
Consider it done. Yes, let's.
Okay, that's fine.
What is your desire?
They will submit.
Yes.
I seek a foe.
Sorry, buddy. What do you have? Higher ground. Oh. Okay.
Wise choice.
I got you, boo.
Aha! With utter certainty.
Udder.
Leave it to us. Off I go.
By your will.
Consider it done. Aha! What is your desire?
Cool.
They will submit.
We'll make a path. Yes, let's. Aha!
Cool. Nailed it. Love that. Hell yeah, dude. Nice. Oop. Not that. Oh, I did go through. Is he still on here? There he is. I did build him. I know I didn't finish it on stream the other day, but I did go through and I wrapped up Mavier. And I'm probably going to update Zephia too. Yeah. You know what's annoying? The hounds have a green color dupe between Grease and Marnie, which makes me sad. If he was a colorless tome, I feel like it would have been better, because then it would have been one of every color, and that would have been more fun. But oh well, we can't have nice things. But our Mavier is nice, so that's cool. That's pretty dope. I might trait for them at some point too. Put them at plus defense. But we'll see. Actually, how many fruits do I have? Does it show me? 480. Jeez. A lot of fruits. All right. People were hoping he was going to be colorless. The world's not fair, man. I'm telling you. The world ain't a fair place. All right. Chat. I am going to get out of here, I think, because we've been live for 3.5 hours on a Friday night. I will be live tomorrow afternoon-ish. And then I will have the summon video, which definitely does exist. I can leak. I'll leak. It's literally right here. I meant to put it live earlier tonight, but I didn't. So I will have that go live tomorrow, and then y'all can check that out. And then maybe I'll just have it flow directly into the stream. Maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah, I'll do that. That seems good. But hey, thanks for kicking it. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate y'all. Very cool. Very pog. I will see you tomorrow, maybe. We can go through our gotcha gauntlet, which I'm sure will be very fun. Hoping that it will be fun. I know it'll be fun. I'm not looking forward to a particular Star Rail thing that I have to do tomorrow, but more to come on that later. All right. I'm out of here, chat. Wait, is anybody live right now? Stachi's probably not live anymore, right? Oh, he is live. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna send you all over to Satachi's stream. So if you want to go check that out, just hang tight. You'll be sent over directly. And you guys can do that. All right. I will see y'all later, chat. Have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, chat. Have a good one. Oh, I forgot YouTube's on a really long delay, so this might not end well. But we'll find